So that was a track called Ghost by Infinite Skies, and we've got Ian and Annaïs from the band. They're my guests on the show today. It was a great track. Anything more you want to tell us about the track? 'Cause you were struggling before about how you wanted to talk about it.
It was a while ago when I wrote it. So, I mean, look, it just to put it really simply, it's just about somebody in your life who you've been close to, and they're no longer in your life, but you still think about them all the time, and you can't really get them off your mind.
Yeah.
Haunt you in your dreams, well, not literally, but
the thought of them haunts you.
The thought of them haunts you, you know, and
yeah,
that's kind of really what it is.
And so, how do you guys describe your music? I mean, I think you were saying sort of synth and pop, and it's I mean, yeah, if someone says to you, "My band is this," I mean, how do you describe yourself? Or, I mean, do you like putting a band into a genre? I mean, I know some bands like, no, we're not, you know, we're not all of these things. We're just a band. We just play what we like. I mean, how do you describe yourselves?
I think we're a fusion of synth pop and
Electro Clash.
Electro Clash. You're kind of better at genres than I am.
Let's
There's so many new genres. Electro Clash. That's a new one for me.
Electro Clash has been around for a while, like in terms of a genre.
Okay.
It's like it's hard to describe. Like it's a series of bands or a series of songs or it's a series of noises essentially. But nothing. That's music for you. Organized noise. But that band that you described earlier that we did the cover of, who was this? Alice in Videoland?
Yeah.
Thanks. We do a track by them live, and there it's, they would be described as Electro Clash themselves.
And so kind of like electro punk.
Yeah, kind of. Like
there's so many genres now.
Like
so many genres.
Think
I
like,
lose track.
Yeah.
Think like classic punk, but with a bit of synthesizers in it.
So, are you guys going to be doing? You've got this song. Is there plans for an album, an EP, or yeah? What's the plan?
Well, we've started recording some more stuff.
Awesome. Yeah.
There are plans for an EP.
Yeah.
That's recording is so far is going well. Not to jinx it. Knocking on wood, or whatever this table is made out of. That's so far so good. So that's EP, then
Yes.
Another video possibly, with better planning put in.
You know. But yeah, look, we just want to definitely going to have an EP.
Yeah, awesome.
In the new year.
Yeah.
And I think that's all we should say
Yes.
about that.
Because plans change and nothing ever goes according to plan. And as we've mentioned numerous times, time itself is a construct.
So do you guys like the process of recording, or do you sort of prefer being like a live band, or I mean, how do you feel about like recording? Is it fun, or is it just like a bit of a chore, something you've got to do, or some bands hate it, some bands think it's just a necessary part, but some bands like, no, we just want to play gigs. I know some bands who don't really even have no recordings, they just play live shows. That's what they do. So
I mean, me personally, I prefer playing live than recording. Like, that's just me. Like, I prefer that. But I enjoy doing the video. Like, I really enjoyed like shooting, being the music video. But yeah, like, look, I do enjoy recording as well. But it's not my favourite task to put it out there. But hey, it's got to be done. So.
What about you, Ian? How do you feel about?
Much like Annaïs, I prefer performing live as opposed to recording in the studio. But because recording in the studio for me is almost like work, but it has to be done. It's not everyone is able to attend a live performance, and we're not that comfortable performing, or at least making live videos in our own living quarters like everyone was doing in lockdown.
So how did you guys cope with sort of not being able to do music? I mean, I guess you could still do music, but not being able to do like gigs, or you might not have been able to progress the band as much as you wanted because you couldn't go out and do gigs. Although I know a lot of bands are doing live streaming their gigs from 5 different locations or something. Or But yeah, so how did you guys cope as a band, I guess, with that?
Well, I think like we weren't really a fully formed band
Yeah.
when the second lockdown happened, but you know, it was a bit frustrating because I was putting ads after ads and obviously no one was responding because nothing was open,
Yeah.
so you know.
Nothing was open within the 5 kilometre
range.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was in previous acts before and during lockdown, and so, you know, the first wave was the most frustrating thing because there was a sort of mini tour planned, and then,
Couldn't do it.
you know,
Yeah.
lockdown put a stop to that, and then, you know, after being released, all of us being released out into the wild, yeah, we continued, got shows, make-up shows were planned for the ones that were cancelled, and then we had to go straight back into lockdown again, because we had new shows booked that had to be cancelled, and so that was frustrating again.
Yeah.
But, you know, what can you do?
But it's interesting that music seemed to really keep people going during all those lockdowns, even though we couldn't go and see live bands. People were still trying to do things musically. People were doing, were live streaming things, or people were going out on their balconies in their apartment blocks and singing to each other. So it's
cool.
interesting. It's interesting to me how music, really did keep people, like, okay, well, we can't go and see a gig, but we'll do something else. So people would try and connect on, Zoom calls or whatever. I mean, music really is, as they say, good for the soul, I guess. So
and Zoom stuff.
yeah,
Over on
it's
Zoom.
not exactly the same, but yeah.
As best you can.
Yes, I mean, I definitely miss being able to go, and go and see live shows. I mean, I couldn't even come and do my radio show for a couple of months while we were in lockdown as well. So, you miss all these things. But I know a lot of bands took advantage of that time and did a lot of writing as well. Like,
That was me,
yeah.
I think the only sort of positive thing in a musical sense was that I was able to write a lot and not have sort of any distractions.
Yeah.
But